Hello, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today is the 11th day of our 34 days of free digital marketing training. And today I'm going to show you how you can build a strong social media presence and community. If you have been joining my channel or the classes we've been having from day one till now, congrats to you, really tried. And if you've noticed, we started from the real basics, from what was easy to grasp into more complex topics. Now, this is a very major topic in terms of digital marketing because every company that wants to thrive, that wants to get sales on social media, wants to get that presence first. They need to have the presence first so they can build that community and really have people who are anticipating their products, who broadcast their products for them, who are loyal fans, right? So today I want to show you how you can build a loyal community for yourself, whether you're a content creator or for a brand if you get a job as a social media manager. Remember that if you're not subscribed to my channel, you need to do it now because what's the point? So please subscribe to my channel so you can get more interesting videos. My name is Tomowa and I'm the KBC of digital marketing, and today we're going to have a lot of fun. Today's class, like I mentioned earlier, is about building a strong social media presence and community. Every brand wants followers, and beyond just the numbers thing, beyond just the fact that it's a numbers game as well, they want to have influence, they want to have reach, they want to be able to post an announcement and 10,000 people see it. That's what they want. And if you look at that carefully, you know that they're not just wanting the followers counts to increase, they want a real community. And few brands get to that point where they have their community. Social media is not about making noise or shouting the loudest. It's about being able to strategically position yourself or a brand to attract the right kind of people. If you are attending the classes that I've been having from day one, you understand what a target audience means, you understand what leads means, you understand what conversion means, right? So brands want to position themselves online on social media platforms in a way that will get them leads, and their target audience will come to them and most likely be converted sometime in the funnel. If what I'm saying to you is weird, funnel, leads, conversions, just check these videos in the highlights or go to the playlist of this class and you understand these terms because we've used them over and over again in classes, examples, and illustrations. A strong social media presence, you can't build it in a day. It's not built in a day. It's going to be a result of clear positioning, consistent content, and real conversation with the right people. Why is it important for brands to build their social media presence? Let me tell you why. There are three major reasons. It is a chance for them to sell their stuff. Instagram has Instagram shops. I mentioned that in yesterday's class. WhatsApp Business allows you to put your catalog and your products in a chat platform, right? Also, aside from you being able to sell, you're also able to build and gain people's trust because they are going to see your brands often. The third reason is that you can start conversations so that if they have questions or they want to cross the trust bridge and they are skeptical about your brand or your services, they can easily come to you and ask you questions and you answer them, you win and you get that sale. That is what social media is about, right? Number one, you can sell directly. Number two, you can gain trust and establish your authority. And number three, you can start conversations with stakeholders, possible partners, or potential leads. We mentioned brand voice some classes ago, and in fact yesterday I really broke down what brand voice meant. Someone asked the question after the class and I explained to them what a brand voice means and what it really entails. Now I taught you brand voice before today's class so you can understand that, so there can be precedents for this conversation. Your brand voice needs to be consistent. You can't be formal today and tomorrow you are informal. There has to be a way people can see that this content belongs to your brand beyond just you slapping your logos or your colors or your fonts on it. Your brand voice is not just what you put out, it's how you put out your content, how you say what you want to say. Three companies can be in the same niche or in the same sector, but how they are going to pass out the same information or niche-wide announcements should be different, and that differences should be seen in their brand voice. I hope you understand. I give example of Piggyverse, of Carrywise. They can put out an announcement, the same announcement, but the way they will disseminate that information is going to be really different. Why is that possible? It's because they all have different brand voices. They are targeting the same audience. They are reaching the same set of people, but you're speaking to them differently. Your brand voice needs to be consistent. What do you want to be known for? What do you want people to feel when they see your posts? What topics or values will you always talk about? If you're always jumping from formal to informal, from serious to unserious, having different personalities in your posts, you really do well because this world or online performance, or anything you're doing online, really favors consistency, right? So it's not just about churning out a lot of content. It's about being consistent in your messaging, in your values. So don't chase everyone, define someone. I really explained to us, I think in the first or second class, what your target audience means. I mentioned that no matter what brand you are, no matter what product you are shipping out, you can't target everybody. It would be a wasteful effort. It won't be productive for you, right? So you need to define early on in your business plan, define who you're going to be reaching, so you can create and focus on your resources, time, attention, creatives on those set of people. Where do they hang out? What do they like? What is their pain points? What frustrates them? What is the problem I am trying to solve? What do they want to learn, laugh about, or get to know about, right? Because if you don't do all this analysis and do all these evaluations early on in your content cycle, you're going to waste time, right? Or you'll not be able to convert them because they will not be able to relate to what you're putting out because it's not for them. So you need to early on define your target audience and create content for them. That's the way you can really get the conversions you want to get. And I also mentioned platforms. Yesterday, we looked at social media platforms and what makes all the algorithms to be unique. If you are here and you're a social media marketer, you are intending to be, or anyhow, if you like social media marketing, please go and watch yesterday's video so you can really understand what makes Instagram, TikTok, YouTube Shorts, Facebook, LinkedIn stand out, so you can know how to make the right content for each of those platforms I've mentioned. I broke it down in yesterday's class and you want to watch it. Choose your platforms intentionally, understand your target audience pain points, understand what they want to hear, understand your products, because you can't push the same product on all platforms, right? Understand your products, understand your customers, then it's easy for you to find the middle ground, what connects your product with your customers. And I'm talking about the right social media platforms you should choose. You can't just guess and just say, oh, I want to launch a branch and I'm going to post on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Why? You don't have a reason. It does not make sense. You have to be intentional about the choice of platforms you want to focus on. Also, you want to understand your content pillars and your strategy. Last week, I explained what a content strategy is. I explained what content pillar is, and we even worked an assignment that involved you crafting your social media content calendar. If you were not in that class, I'm going to put the link here so you can go back and watch it. Please go and watch the video because it's really, really insightful, right? Aside from knowing your customers or your target audience, the race has just started. It has not stopped there. You need to identify your content pillars. For example, in this slide that I created for a skincare brand, you can say the content pillars are education. In that education part, you're going to teach them about anything possible as regarding skincare. Why do I have acne? Why are you having acne? Why is your acne stubborn? Why are you having pimple? Why are you having eczema? Why eczema? What causes eczema? What, why, how, where? Those are educative content. So you can have one pillar which is education. The second pillar can be customer stories, right? You have people that have come to you and your product or your service has really helped them. You can tell their story through different kinds of content forms. A reel where you interview them, right? Or a carousel or a static post. You just have to be creative about this. You can also have BTS content, which means behind the scenes content, talking about how you make your formula, talking about what inspired you to start, talking about, how you're working on something, or maybe a screen recording that doesn't have audio that shows you consulting for someone in need of skincare services. These are simple things that you can work on and really think of, because when people come to your page, they want to be sure that you have the credibility. They want to be sure that you're not going to waste their time or their money. So you have to put out these things so it's easy for them to understand what you stand for, your expertise, and they can come to you accordingly. You can also choose to have a pillar for lifestyle inspiration so people can stick around your content. It has to be interesting. Nobody wants to be spoken to by a professor. They want engaging content that they can vibe with. For building engagement, your content has to be catchy. It has to be really, really strong. Many days ago, when I mentioned the structure of a proper storytelling content or content that shows storytelling, I mentioned that there are three major parts of a fantastic content. You have the headline, you have the hook, and you have the CTA. These things, they follow each other. The headline grabs their attention first, the hook shows them what is in it for them, then the CTA tells them what next they should do, whether they should join your newsletter or buy a product or go to your website, just about the action they should carry out. Don't worry about just making noise or talking every now and then. Make sure that the content you're putting out, you're not just broadcasting or posting because you want to post, you're building engagements. You're putting out content that people can ask questions about, people can follow up on, people can agree with or disagree with, right? Don't post content as if you're working on your diary, as if you're writing on your diary or you're writing a letter to your boyfriend or your husband. No. Put out content in a way that those that are in the market, those that need your solution, can understand, ask questions, or even disagree with you. Aside from posting on your page, make sure you respond to comments quickly, answer messages, ask questions, and you can even spotlight your users. A way to encourage user participation in your content is by asking them questions. For example, yesterday I mentioned something that we did in the class that we did on my Twitter account, right? I made that tweet and I got some responses. Yes, some responses were from you, my students, but other people also responded, right? That was a way of me encouraging user participation. Real community is not just about you making noise. You have to encourage them to also talk about your content or respond to your content on your platform. When I mentioned the 3 types of content, I mentioned the owned content, I mentioned the earned content, I mentioned the paid content. For your page to enjoy from earned content, for people to tag you, talk about you, your content has to be interesting enough. Your service or your offerings have to stand out, right? You have to put out your content in a way that encourages people to interact with you online. Put your posts or create your posts in a way that encourages people to comment, share, ask a question, disagree, or ask you how you can help them. Put your content in those content formats. You can ask people or your followers to share their experiences, to submit their photos or videos, to vote on a poll, or to join a private group, right? That is a way you can encourage user participation. Sometimes when you're handling content for a brand, you're going to get negative feedback. It may be your fault, it may not be your fault, it may be something beyond your control. But you need to make sure that for every negative feedback, you have the potential to turn it around for your good. When someone complains or bashes your brand, that's not the time for you to become defensive or to insult them. Remember, it's an emotions game at that point in time. So you have to make sure you calm down first. Understand that customers are always right, or customers are king. I'm not saying that the customer cannot be wrong. No, I'm saying that at that point where there's a lot of tension from the customer's end, you can't fight fire with fire. You have to calm down for them to de-escalate. Calm down, apologize or acknowledge the situation. Apologize if the criticism is valid, right? I'm sure you've seen many of your banks, many of your telecoms company, Airtel, Glo, they do it all the time. When someone complains about their network, they'll say, "Oh, we are sorry about this. Check your DM." That's a way for them to remove the noise, remove the negative reviews from their platform into a private conversation, and that way you can resolve the problem. Some months ago, I think last year January, I ordered a pair of earbuds, and I didn't like the quality. It wasn't sounding as good as it should be. Then I went to the DM to complain. I asked them that I wanted a refund, right? Because they had a refund policy active and in place. But the person handling the social media network was insulting to me. I was like, oh, so I went to Twitter and I tagged them and I said, "This is rubbish, right? You said you have 7 days returns policy. Your product is not as good as you advertise, and you're insulting me on the DMs." The CEO saw the tweet, called me, replied the tweet, and really apologized, right? So you can see how a careless social media manager can ruin a brand. You don't want to make that mistakes. It can be really, really stressful. It can open up a can of worms. First of all, acknowledge the concern. Apologize if your brand is guilty or if the mistake is from your end, or explain. The best thing you can do is acknowledge the situation, then try to move it to a private conversation so you can solve it one-on-one, and the whole world is not watching people complain about a problem that can be avoided or could be de-escalated. Avoid arguments. Don't get insultive. Remember that you're representing your personal brand or you're representing another brand. Whichever situation fits you, you are building a legacy, you are building a platform that you want to outlive you, that you want to last. Therefore, you don't want it to be seen or heard that at one point in time you had an outburst. Don't be emotional, be pragmatic. Measurements, you need to know what is working. I mentioned this in every class, that data speaks. Your data tells you what you're doing right or what you're doing wrong, or when you're doing something right or wrong. You need to always measure your performance, because you can't improve what you don't measure. Go and check your insight, check your likes, check your comments, check your views, check your reach, check your followers. Although your views, your analytics in terms of your reach, your likes, your comments may not be a mirror or a good way to evaluate your content, but at least it's a chance for you to see how well the algorithm or people are reacting to something you put out. Always measure your data, and that's the point of me teaching you how to create a content calendar some days ago, so that you can create it down, schedule your content, and really spend time every day to see how your content or your page is working, or how your page is performing on that platform, right? It's really important that you test and you measure your data. Examples: Piggyvest, right? They make content consistently about investment, saving your money, making sure in times of inflation you can stay ahead. Nike, they talk about just do it. Some bakeries talk about their behind the scenes and customer interaction. I wish brands like Bokube did it, but they don't know better. So that's it. Now for the assignment, and this is something you should actually try. I want everybody to put their responses as a comment. You're going to pick a brand that you follow. Pick any brand at all. Tell me what makes them effective. You can share ideas for content pillars, for that brand, and you can put out 3 captions for 3 different social media posts that can spark conversions for that brand. Really, in the time past, I've seen assignment submissions done on Google Classrooms and not on YouTube, right? On Twitter and Google Classrooms. But today, let's bring the game to YouTube, right? So put your answers as a comment. I'm going to post these questions in the Google Classrooms for those that are enrolled to this class, so you can really see it like in full form. But I really want to hear from you. What do you think? Just pick any imaginary brand. It can be Boku Bread, can be anything, can be MTN, can be Glow, can be anything at all, right? And let's talk about what can be interesting content ideas they can try and implement, just to see how good or how well you understand this topic. Remember, when you're building social media content or when you're building a page, think of it like you're taking care of a small baby. Everything matters, everything counts. What you feed the algorithm matters. How you gain your followers matters. If you try to cheat the system and buy followers, you are hurting the growth of your brand and you're affecting the potential of that brand, because you're unwinding the algorithm. It's not going to know who are the people that really like your content. So it's going to be hard for them to recommend your content to other real people. Do you understand? Thank you for joining today's class. This is really short, but I hope it was really insightful. If you have questions, please don't hesitate. Drop a comment below, and I'll always respond to your comments. My name is Tomowa. I'm the KBC of Digital Marketing. See you in the next class, which is going to happen today.